probably, at least in my top five favorite Disney movies, is Hercules.
Oh my God, so good.
Uh, I'm kind of curious, what was your role on Hercules? What did you get to?
Yeah. So, I was in cleanup on Pocahontas. I made the switch over to Rough in Betweener on Hunchback. And then Hercules was so demanding, they were going to make like, we need more animators. Oh my God, this is my turn. This is my chance. And even, I wasn't smart enough. Who would be smart enough? I didn't know CG was going to come along, but I still did even then recognize that, boy, in the long history of this company, there are ups and downs. And we're definitely on an up right now. And I'm not going to assume that we're always going to be this busy. It's going to go down at some point. If I can do anything, I never got a college degree. If I can become a Disney animator, I can have that title. I got to do it before this window closes. So I pushed really hard, and I wasn't married with kids yet. I lived at the studio, and I would do my, if it was a drawing an hour and cleanup, I would do my 8 drawings that day, and then I would stay. I'd eat dinner, and I'd stay until 1 or 2 in the morning working on personal animation tests, leaning on the animators, showing Russ, what do I need to do? How can I make this shot better? And I was just working on test after test after test after test. If I saw, like I said, if you can identify a weakness, if I saw like, boy, I don't dialogue when do you know when to put the mouth to the side? When do you know to like squash the face and pop it? That's a weakness. I don't know how to do it. I got to figure this out. So I would just attack it. I do nothing but dialogue shot after dialogue shot after dialogue shot, until that became my favorite thing to do. And then it repeats, like hair overlap. Boy, sometimes you can chart like a head going from here to here and in between it, but hair overlap, it reacts to that. It's going to like overshoot and settle. You can't chart it. I'm scared of this thing. Okay, I've got to do overlap. I've got to do characters with long hair, characters with cape. I have to attack it. And now I love it. Anytime I design a character, it has to have some kind of element of overlap because it's fun and it adds texture. So I just attacked it. And then I got to the point where I could be now an apprentice animator on Hercules. So I got assigned to young Hercules with another mentor, lifelong friend, Randy Haycock, who taught me how to animate and taught me how to clean up my drawings. So it'd be easier on the cleanup department once they got it. And one thing that's great is, I'm a huge Superman fan, and I'm watching our reels and I'm like, wow, this movie is kind of like Superman. Like he came from Olympus, like Superman came from Krypton, and then he was raised on the planet Earth by 2 farmers, just like Superman. And then he met a girl from the big city that intrigued him, just like Lois Lane, just Hercules, and it had so many parallels. So I thought I better attack this thing. I gotta succeed here because I'm never gonna get a shot like this again. And so, but as an apprentice animator, I would have to have reviews. They kind of felt like the program would be for a year. And if you make it, we're going to promote you. If in a year you didn't prove it, then maybe this isn't for you. So I had a year of doing production scenes, but when you're an apprentice, what scenes do you get? I get a shot when Hercules is like this small on screen and you can barely see him. Now I could draw it big, but they would shrink it in the computer. But I got all the scenes where young Hercules is tiny. And so, but now you have these reviews. So I was still working late at night and getting dialogue from, I'd grab dialogue from Luke Skywalker from the Star Wars movies, and I would animate young Hercules. And now I could do a close up with dialogue to really show what I can do. And those were the scenes that got me promoted to animator, because I don't know if those little tiny shots were going to do the job.
Take these 2 over to the garage, will you? I want them cleaned up before dinner.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
You can waste time with your friends when your chores are done.
All right, come on.
Huh. Now, I am thumbing through The Art of Hercules, the book. It seems like there was, even just finding the artistic style was something of a journey, because of where they started. It was really, really stylized, hyper stylized. And it sounds like Disney was kind of figuring out, okay, how do we maintain this, but also like Disneyfy it? And so I'm curious, once Disney settled on, okay, this is the look of Hercules, did you have any trouble sort of adapting to all those swirls and that sort of specific look?
Yeah. Not just me. That's a challenge for the whole crew, and then it happened on Atlantis again when they wanted that Mike Mignola look, where they want this look that's very personal to an artist, and Gerald Starr for Hercules. But now you have to get 300 artists to conform to that style. And some are going to really get it and run with it, and some maybe not as much. And it's always a challenge. And the good head start that you have is everybody can just draw. I mean, gosh, they could all just draw so well. So it's now just like, can they get that style? And then I'm sure, I'm just guessing, nobody's told me this, but I from my educated guess, you probably have the studio to answer to. So when you're showing animation to the studio, they might be like, whoa, this is getting a little bit too off our brand. We've built this brand for decades. So it's that challenge of getting that, like, we want every movie to look visual and different, so they don't all look the same, which would be boring. But then you also have to maintain the brand. Then you have certain artists that really get the new style, but then you have artists that kind of only know the Disney brand. So you do get kind of this mishmash. Hercules got it pretty well, I think. Maybe more so than Atlantis did. I think if you watch Atlantis, there's certain characters that really get the Mignola style, and then some that don't. And then the added layer, I know we're talking about Hercules, but to give Atlantis as a easier example, I went to a meeting and they showed us Mike Mignola, and they showed that, it's very graphic because it's printed material that we're looking at. So Mike Mignola would have black shadows, and they weren't softened or soft focused or anything. And they were jagged, and they were, graphic and edgy. So I got to work on Milo, and my first shot, it's not my responsibility to put the tones on, but I wanted to sell this Mignola thing that I was one of the guys that got it. And so I put it on there. And then I don't know, I must have missed a meeting or something. I go to our dailies where we're seeing the first shots in color. And then I see, the shadows are just the softened Disney shadows. So something happened. Somebody said something that we couldn't go that far. So you just have all these balls in the air that you're juggling to try to get a new style that's fresh, but also maintaining the house style.
Interesting. Yeah, I got the feeling with Hercules, and it's funny you mentioned Atlantis too, because I remember seeing that look for the first time and it being really striking. But I got the feeling with Hercules that it almost seemed like the Disney studio, at least in the feature film arena, had not pushed style that much since like Sleeping Beauty. I felt.
Yeah. It's hard because too, and here's the great thing about working with the big company is collaboration and visibility. But then also, like I said, the negative is like, it's not always getting your own way, and it's sacrificing sometimes. And so, when it was run by one guy, Walt Disney, he could say, I went to this art gallery, this Ivan Earl guy. Oh my God, his paintings are beautiful. We're going to make Sleeping Beauty look like an Ivan Earl painting. And then it could happen. There was no committee to decide how far we were going to take it. But then, Walt passed on, and now it's become a corporate, and there's a lot of voices in the room. And to get everybody on the same page, you can imagine the challenge with that.